as usual, this guy wants to get paid. So please donate to keep us on, because the Prime Minister, for some reason, does not want to fund this show. Dean Baxendale is the president of Optimum Publishing. Here's a book. It's called Wilful Blindness, and he's put it out. It's by Sam Cooper, and it's a fascinating book. So for those who don't have it, there it is. Tell us about it, because it's something to do with the Chinese government involved in Canada.
It's got a tremendous amount to do with the Chinese government's infiltration operations in Canada. And this started with Sam back in Vancouver when he was a beat reporter for The Sun.
Right.
He started to see the huge amount of poverty, the drug use on Pender and Hastings Street, and he started to do some investigations. Well, where was all this money? Where are all these drugs coming from? And that led him down a path where he went and found out that money was being laundered through the casinos. And ultimately, he then, through his reporting, met up with people within the intelligence community, or RCMP, law enforcement, that started saying, hey, your stories are really, really good, but you should really have a better understanding of the nexus, where this is all coming from. And ultimately, what we've now found out through this book in terms of foreign interference is often the transnational organized crime groups that are running here in Canada, which includes the Sinaloa and Mexican cartels laundering money in Canada, are using that money ultimately and funneling it into government proxies here in Canada, and absolutely doing things like transnational repression against diaspora communities. But this is about the money, and this is also why Trump is seriously looking at fentanyl and Canada's role in the ecosystem.
Well, it's up to every nation, and we'll talk about this another time, to guard their own borders about what's coming in. But Canada is getting a reputation of being a source of fentanyl. So, but tell me more about the connection with the Canadian and the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, the Chinese Communist Party, just like Russia and Iran, has been using proxies around the world, and those are connected to organized crime. It's oftentimes we call China Inc., the world's largest transnational organized crime group in the world. They compete with the Russians on this, but this is the way they fund a lot of operations around the world. The North Koreans have been doing it. Kim Jong-il's, half of their budget is built around a nefarious narco trade around the world, and a lot of that is headquartered here in Canada.
It just seems like something out of ancient history, where a civilization is rotten by infiltrating from other countries, and they're hitting our soft spot, which is drugs.
Hitting our soft spot, the reality is Canada is a very open and honest country. We've welcomed many people into this country, and unfortunately, through lax immigration programs, we've allowed triads, organized crime people, agents of other governments to infiltrate, come into this country, and operate with impunity.
True North, no longer strong and free. Dean, thanks very much. That's the book, Willful Blindness, 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.